of Fame dinner, the Quincy North Quincy Hall of Fame football program, and it was a great night up at Granite Lakes. They honored three from Quincy and three from North, and Scotty Campbell, also Lodge Elect, was the MC. Him and Sean Glennon and the entire team do a great job putting that program together each and every year. And of course, the seniors are each honored by their coaches and talked about. And the game is talked about. So it is quite a tradition. It truly is.
Yeah, it's 91 years tomorrow, so that's probably one of the oldest rivalries in the state, I'm guessing.
It's got to be up there, I'm certain.
Sure. Do they still do the spaghetti dinner the day before?
I'm sure they do. I mean, I know they do. Like, I'm more familiar with North.
Yeah.
His kids played there, and they used to do the last lap around Kavanaugh Field.
Oh, yeah.
I think they still do that as part of the tradition. Pete Zoe used to lead it for many, many years. Pete was a legend at North. I think Dr. Cubian joins in and participates. So they, some of the alumni come back, they give some talks, and they do the last lap, and they're prepared.
Sure. Before we get there, though, of course, we have to get through the Thanksgiving Day holiday, and I know that the New Yawkey Housing Resource Center is open and hosting their first community meal this year.
Yes, that's been a long time planning and execution of the new structure there, which is very different, obviously, than what they moved out of. The Bills was in the old registry building for many years, and this is really first true the Bill shelter that was built as such, right from the planning and architectural drawings. So it's a whole new concept, which we as a city were pushing a bit as well. The whole idea of just pushing people out in the street at 7:30 in the morning did not sit well. So their new concept includes, including day programs and resources during the day to help these folks with some of the challenges they have. Perhaps it's resume building, finding a job. Perhaps it's connecting them with mental health counselors, whatever it may be. They've got a triage area. They've got short-term apartments. It's really well thought out, and I think it's going to truly make a difference for the people of our community that are struggling.
Yeah, and I'm guessing this helps to now advance the progress in the public safety complex?
Yes, indeed. That's been a bit of a frustration point.
Yeah.
Because that did take longer than anticipated, which held up, not totally, but certainly the last month has been difficult. But it's there. So that building will come down, the crane shift over, and the steel starts to go up in the public safety building.
Sure. Can we talk just a little bit about some issues before we talk about all the events coming up, Mayor? Specifically the transit-oriented development districts that are being proposed around the T stations. What exactly does the city have to do to comply with that state law?
Well, it's the administration put something before the city council based on the new state law. I think I've said it before, Joe. For the most part, we're already doing what the T has, or the state has suggested around the T stations. And if you look at the redistricting in Wollaston Center, that's going to allow for some more density. For example, the old Wollaston Theater site, the block on the corner of Arlington and Brook, which ends at Arlington on one end, Newport on the other, and then of course Beale behind the firehouse. That's a block that's ripe for development, right by a T station. We did the Bazzuto project in North Quincy. Obviously, there's a lot going on in Quincy Center and South Quincy, Center Street. So we are kind of meeting that challenge anyway. So there'll be some tweaking of zoning based on this new initiative by the state, which is challenging really the communities of Massachusetts to meet the demand for new housing. And as I said, I think we've been doing a pretty good job at that. As you know, Joe, it was a bit of an issue during my recent reelection that some people are concerned, is it too much, and we had discussions and debates about that. But in reality, the region is not meeting the need for new units as we need to protect the economy here in the Boston region. So we got to continue to do our part. I've always said we protect the neighborhoods. Residence A, single-family homes is a no-no. But in areas around the T station, it makes sense. That's
Yep.
where it belongs.
Is there a deadline or a timeline the state has imposed for communities to meet that
I'm
goal?
sure there is. I don't know it off the top of my head, Joe.
Okay.
I have to check with the solicitor on that. I know he's been the one
Okay.
doing the work on it.
So creating these districts, though, is just kind of formalizing the next step. As to
Correct.
I see. Very good. We talk, of course, now, Mayor, about all the events happening here in Quincy. This really is, I would argue, one of the busiest weeks of the year in the city.
Is there something going on?
Just a couple of
It sure
things.
is. It's truly becoming an incredible tradition. Between I know we talked about the Hall of Fame dinner, of course, the big game tomorrow, the 91st game, and then of course Friday, things really kick in for the season. And Thanksgiving's a little early this year on the calendar, so it made it a little more challenging for all our city departments to get everything banged out so everything is prepared for Friday
I
night.
saw them putting the lights up on Election Day.
Yes, absolutely. And when you think about all, you get the North Quincy District, the Quincy Wallaston District, the Quincy Center area. We assist in some of the neighborhoods, Fort Square and Squantum and Post Island area and Housenack and Fall River and Stafford Park. I mean, it's a lot to cover. So you can't start a week before. So it's really great, though. I mean, I don't know that there's another community that does it like Quincy does it. I truly don't. I've heard from so many people about the incredible display in Quincy Center. Many people say it's like a living hallmark right here in Quincy Center, the scene. And we certainly have brought it to a whole new level over the last several years. So, but it makes it, Friday night there'll be several thousand people there.
Yep.
And kids of all ages. And it's just an incredible, happy evening. And as you know, we've got a couple of youth choirs that going to kick things off. And Santa will be making us stop by. We'll do the countdown, get the lights on, and then the whole weekend begins. So it's pretty cool stuff. It really is.
Absolutely. Any prediction for the big game tomorrow, Mayor?
You never know with that game. Never know. So I'll stay away from that. Both teams had some injuries this year.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting, but it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. I want to remind folks they can watch it here on QATV as well if they can't make it.
That's right. QATV fee. How many years have you been doing the game, Joe? I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't know offhand, but at least 25, if not more than that.
Got to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of volunteers are a part of that. So they give up their time on Thanksgiving to help get that game broadcast for these kids and their families.
Indeed. And now with modern technology, they can even watch it on their mobile devices wherever they happen to be. So we bring the city right to them.
Absolutely.
A message from you, Mayor, for the city for Thanksgiving?
I know I probably ring a similar theme each year, Joe, but with all the challenges we've had in this nation, you look around the world and there are a lot of issues around the world. It's a troubled world we live in, and whether it's Russia invading Ukraine, whether it's Hamas invading Israel, whether it's the issues over in Africa, whether it's the suppression of human rights in China, with all our challenges, it's still the greatest country in the world, and we shouldn't forget that. We should always be grateful for that. So, with Thanksgiving, I'm grateful for having an amazing family, some incredible loyal friends, and a job that I love. I thank the people of Quincy for allowing me to continue in that job. So we have so much to be grateful for. We should also be mindful of all our men and women in uniform who aren't home for the holiday because of their duties, keeping the world safe. And it's pretty amazing how many Quincy kids from this city that are in positions in the military around the world, and including Christopher Hill, who was the veteran speaker last year, who's the commanding officer of the Eisenhower. That's pretty incredible over in the Middle East. So we should always be mindful of them and their service as they're away from their families. But I just wish everybody, a wonderful holiday. Enjoy the food, enjoy your company, and time with your loved ones.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and from all of us here at QATV, to you and your family, a very happy, healthy holiday season.
Back at you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.